Hello everyone and welcome to PSGL. It is of course F2. We are at Singapore and as you can see we have got a depleted grid again, but it's better than last week where we only had 9 or 8 drivers I think. So we've actually got 13 drivers this week. So hopefully we have a much better and entertaining race than last week at Japan. But Singapore of course is the longest race on the calendar, so it's either going to be really boring or it's going to be filled with action all race long. But yeah, currently on board with a Lambo, who of course in the Ferrari goes a little bit wide out of exit, but he is no doubt going to aim for pole position. And it'd be interesting to see whether Bad Boy can make it back-to-back wins. He of course won last week at Japan, so he's going to be looking to make it 2 wins in a row. But again, don't count out the likes of Steven, Darren and King Mick, as well, as they are all on the pace. Hello Matt, welcome to the stream, and hello everyone that is just tuning in. We're of course in qualifying and I don't know the weather for the race, so it could be a wet race, it could be a dry to wet race. Hopefully it is. Would definitely spice things up in terms of strategy, but still on board with Lambo as he comes now into sector 2 and goes a little bit wide there. That's going to cost him some time on his lap. Lights up the rear, trying to gain that time back. Red Bull behind him, I do believe that is, who is that? I still don't know people's cars, so bear with me. I believe that was Steven. So yeah, as I said, Steven going to be aiming to win this race tonight. Of course, no Black Mamba and Flair. I believe Flair has been banned for a couple seasons because he made some inappropriate comments in the chat, so he won't be taking part this season. And King Mick sets the first lap of qualifying is a 38.1. Not a great lap, and especially from some of King Mick's calibre, I thought it'd be at least in the 37s. But Steven coming into the last corner, Lambo goes provisional pole. Steven, I think, got invalid, so let's just see what Steven did set. 37.1, so you can just see the quality that Steven has. He's 7/10 quicker than a current pole man at Lambo. But I'm going to stay with Bad Boy now as he comes to the line. What does Bad Boy set? He goes pole with 37.2. So Bad Boy taking provisional pole, but Steven can go quicker than Bad Boy, not by much at the moment. So hopefully these guys have a cracking battle with this race. And Darren pops into second place with 37.5. Again, good banker from him. So I think if you're getting 37s for your first run, I think you're more or less set for maybe a top 5, top 6 start. But don't forget, people will go out on the super softs. You see AMD there just giving his teammate the only man to be out on them super soft tyres, as he's I think on for another lap, so maybe he must have got invalid and backed out. So it's going to stay on board with AMD and see if he can improve his time with 1 minute 40 flat. He should, being giving his teammate, he should be able to improve that time. So we're going to stay on board, we're going to hide everything and ride on board with this man here. Just see how tight and complex this track is, especially in qualifying in the race. You just got to be, I think, if you're consistent and keep it out the wall, you'll no doubt get a good finish. You can see AMD approaching the tight twisty bit of the track now. Sector 3, of course, traction friendly zone, has to be said. He'll want to get this right. He's 2/10 up on his time, so he is on to improve, but there's traffic in the way that will of course disturb the air in front of him. That Williams will need to move out of the way. So AMD goes a bit deep, almost hits the wall, and that Williams does indeed move, but AMD hits the wall. I think that's him out, and Steven does set a 36.9, and AMD does indeed return to the pit. So we know AMD has pace in him to improve and maybe challenge the likes of Pog, Scuba, and maybe even Merc, who is sort of, I would say busy, but he's got other priorities tonight. So if he goes AI, then we all know why. But I mean, it's shocking from Scuba. I thought Scuba would be up there as well, but hopefully Scuba has, well, Scuba definitely will have time in his lap. And Alice Killer, actually, I think this is his first race. He's actually in 3rd place, half a second behind Steven. So Alice Killer going to run out of fuel as well, and with 4 minutes 50 remaining, I don't think he'll get another run in. And ZL Mercedes and Wesker being the only 2 guys to not set that. But Wesker coming to the last corner now. What will Wesker set? Where would he go when he gets invalid? So let's quickly see what Wesker would have set. Of course, his track. I think Wesker's just starting his lap now, so perfect time to go on board with the man himself, the favourite as he likes to be called. So let's see what Wesker can do as he comes to the end of sector 1. A bit wide on entry, but nevertheless looking quite clean from Wesker. We'll check his sector 1 time compared to Stevens, and we'll see how he compares to the fastest man on the grid. So Wesker sets a 27.3, Skeven 26.9, so he's 4 tenths down already is Wesker on Skeven's best lap. So at the moment Wesker is looking for about maybe 6th or maybe 7th on the grid, which I think is quite reasonable for Wesker. I think that's what he'd be expecting himself, but he's got enough fuel for 2 runs, so if he gets invalid this lap he'll have enough time and enough fuel for 2 runs. But as he comes into sector 2, again, you don't want to get this bit wrong. If you get this bit wrong, it could cost you your lap, and even you could pick up some wing damage as well, which in qualifying at this point would be almost retire worthy, you could say. So Wesker now coming into sector 3. Again, I'm not a fan of this sector at Singapore, because it's so easy to run over the curbs and get invalid. But Wesker doing a good job and navigating the curbs, not really taking any risks. I think he just wants to set a valid lap and see where he fares against the rest. I think he'll be aiming for where Merck is and King Mixer, maybe 7th, 8th, even 6th places. Wesker comes to the final corner, and where will Wesker go? He will go P8, so yeah, 8th or 9th, and he actually out-qualifies Merck. So fair play to Wesker, but he has got enough fuel, so he's going to go again. So while everyone is in the pits, we are just going to stay with Wesker, because he's the only car out on pits. So Wesker, he got some TV time, and I thought Wesker went a bit too deep there, but actually done well to keep it out the wall. So let's see how Wesker fares this time compared to Skeven in the first sector. Let's have a quick look. So Skeven set a 26.9 and Wesker sets a 27.4, so he's down on his own time. So whether Wesker will just maybe back out of this lap and maybe go for another one. It's going wide, so I think he's going to be losing more and more time. And we've got ZR Mercedes now on a lap. Well, he's in Rich, so I think he is on an out lap. So we're going to go on board with him and see what he can do. Of course, not setting a lap. He of course only got time. Well, he's got time for 2 runs, so he has got enough time, but not enough fuel, I don't think, for 2 runs. But he's in Rich, so I don't know why he's gone into Rich. Maybe he don't really want. Maybe he don't want to show his pace, or I don't know. It's quite strange why he's gone into Rich and not Max. Let's see how ZR Mercedes then fares. He's of course going to be slower than Skeven, being not on max fuel revs. Again, I don't get why ZR Mercedes isn't on a max fuel load, but we'll see what he sets. He sets a 27.3, so he's 4 tenths down on the Skeven, but of course he's on the lower fuel mode, so he's always going to be slower than more or less than the majority of the grid. As a Darren Sinclair, I think, is now starting this lap, and Wesker is going again. So Wesker on the same set of ultra softs, going for another. Maybe it is wet weather, otherwise Wesker would not be doing what he's doing now. And we got no idea, mate. I was calling Grosjean. Looks like Grosjean. So I think he's about to start his lap now. So we'll stay. I think everyone either on their out lap or starting a lap. We're going to see where ZR Mercedes is, and he's in the 3rd sector. So we'll stay with him. I don't think there's a bit of traffic. There's a Williams. He'll have to get out of the way. He does. There's a Ferrari as well. Again, traffic around this track. Don't want to catch it. Oh look, he's going to be. Oh, that's Lambo in front as well. ZR Mercedes to the line, and he goes 7th on rich fuel revs as well. That's pretty decent from ZR Mercedes. I know this man's quick, so hopefully he can have a good start to his race. But up at the front, Skeven, I believe, is on a lap, so we'll stay with Skeven and Bad Boy, because potentially the pole is between them two, as qualifying is now ended. So everyone who completes the lap now will not have enough time to set another lap. So who's going to be first across the line? I believe it is Wesker, actually. So Wesker having most of the TV time in qualifying, he's going to come across the line now, and we'll see what Wesker can set. Ooh, takes a little bit of curb into last corner, almost losing the car, and doesn't improve. So Wesker stays at 9th then. And who will be next? There's an offense. Skeeven's out! Skeeven's binned out of the last corner! Wow! Now, was Skeeven up on his lap? That is the question. Oh, he was. Not by... I don't know whether he was up on his lap or not, but he was definitely level with his current lap. So now Bad Boy has it all to do now, and Grosjean, I'm going to call him, goes second place. So fantastic lap for him at the end of quali. And now all eyes on this man here, Bad Boy. Can he take pole from Skeeven, who retired at the last corner? Bad Boy comes to final. Oh, Bad Boy spun as well. Oh, Bad Boy lost his wing, so he won't be continuing a qualifying. And who's next? Lambo goes first. That pushes Bad Boy down to 4th. And Merck actually goes up to 7th, so good luck for Merck in the end. So now Mercedes still just been demoted to 9th, and Scuba is about to finish his laps as well, so we'll see where Scuba goes as he comes to the line. Where's Scuba going to go? He goes 6th, so good luck from Scuba at the end. And I believe just waiting for ZR Mercedes to indeed retire, and then we'll have a full classification of the qualifying times. But it is Skeeven on pole. I feel like Skeeven got a bit lucky there with Bad Boy as well, losing the car. So we're just waiting for ZR Mercedes to retire. Well, it is, of course. There's only 1.2 seconds separating the whole grid from 1st to 13th, so everyone on the pace here and not exactly lacking. So it is Skeeven who indeed does take pole. Grosjean in 2nd. I just don't know how to say his name. Lambo in 3rd. Bad Boy in 4th. Alice Killer in 5th. Scuba, good lap at the end to take 6th. Darren in 7th. King Mick 8th. Mercked with another good lap at the end to take 9th place. And ZR Mercedes runs up the top 10. Then we've got Poe or Pog in 11th. Wesker in 12th. AMD indeed the last man on the grid. So of course Pog, Wesker and AMD will all get free tyre selection. So they could be ones to watch in the race. But again, it could be raining. Again, I don't know whether it is going to be raining. We saw Wesker do multiple laps on the same set of ultras at the end of quali, so who knows. And it's not raining, so don't know what Wesker was doing, but wasn't the right thing to do. But he is of course outside the top 10, so he would indeed get a free choice of tyre and of course fresh tyres as well. As we wait for the guys to load up their strategy, alter their fuel, and then we'll go lights out. And it's indeed Lambo who readies up first. So those that are watching, get your predictions in the chat. Who do you think will win this race? And who do you think will round out the podium? Right, that's it. Everyone's ready. So we're going to go straight to 5 red lights. Skeeven on pole, Grosjean in 2nd, Lambo in 3rd. Who's going to get a better start? I think Grosjean's actually got a better start. He has. So can he challenge Skeeven down to turn 1? He does dive down the inside. Skeeven goes right around the outside though, manages to down to 1st place. But Grosjean down the inside. Skeeven still keeps it, and he does. And Lambo now still in 3rd place. Alice Killer looking to go around his outside into turn 3. Can't make nothing of it. But he is still there, down his inside now. So, ooh, Lambo getting a bit close there. Bad Boy now up into 3rd, sorry. And a 3 wide behind. It's going to end badly. Bad Boy round the outside of the Ferrari. Does he make the move sick? He does. A good move from Bad Boy. Look at the Force India of Alice Killer looking to follow Bad Boy, but Lambo says no. And closes the door on him. But further back, we've got Alice Killer 5th, Scuba in 6th, who's under pressure from Darren. And Darren's under pressure from his teammate King Mick. And then we've got Merck in 9th, Pog in 10th, Wesker in 11th, AMD 12th, and ZR Mercedes dropping to the back of the grid. So whether he got wing damage, I don't know. But he's gone down the inside of AMD. AMD, I think, has spun. I think he has. He has. AMD's round, but he has still got a full wing, so he will not need to pit. I'm just trying to get the. That's what I wanted, the tyres up. So Wesker and AMD all choosing to start on the super softs. So again, watch out for them at the end of the race. They're going to be pretty quick, but AMD 7 seconds behind, not the start to the race he wanted. But up at the front, Skeven with near enough half a second lead. But look at Grosjean under braking. Skeven clipped the wall there. I did see Skeven clip the wall, so maybe Skeven got a little bit of wing damage. But Grosjean now all over his back end now through this last sector. And Bad Boy almost hitting the wall there. Now Skeven and Grosjean coming through the final couple of corners. Skeven does indeed set fastest lap. Who's got the best straight line speed? But behind them we've got Scuba on the attack to Alice Killer, who in turn has been followed by Darren. So this is all kicking off now. Lap 2 out of 31. This is a very long race, one of the longest on the calendar, of course. And there could be wet weather on the way again. I don't know. So we'll see what happens. But now Darren, all over the back of Scuba's back end now. So will Darren go for a dive bomb? No, he doesn't. Thinks better of it. So that will allow Scuba to breathe a sigh of relief. But up at front, Bad Boy now starting to catch. I wouldn't know how to say his name. I was going from Grosjean anyway. So we've got Bad Boy catch up to the back of Grosjean, who in turn is sort of starting to lose a little bit of time to Skeven. So hopefully these three can continue to battle as they are. But Skeven losing the back end. Skeven's playing a very dangerous game because that back end does not look comfortable whatsoever. And now Bad Boy starting to catch these guys. So after starting fourth, he's made up a place already. And these three starting to lose contact with the guys behind. Got 9 people watching, so thank you all for tuning in and watching the stream. As Bad Boy now still continues to close in on the guys ahead. Seems looking most comfortable out there. I don't know, I feel like Bad Boy has got a little bit of understeer on his car. As Skeven sets the fastest lap of the race. So Skeven then, with his back end being all slippy, definitely means he's got the pace. And again, time penalties around here are very, very far and few between. So we expect a few people to get time penalties around here. But the closest battle on track is Darren and Scuba. So stay on board with Darren to see if we can get a better run than Scuba. I don't think he has. I think Scuba's just got a better run. But again, all these guys are all within the DRS. So I don't know what's going to happen here, but it's just one big DRS train. No one can really gain. I think if anyone's going to make a move, it has to be in Sector 2 or even Sector 3, where there is no DRS, and you can sort of take advantage of the corners. But up at front, Skeven now half a second, so top 3 sort of evening itself out now. I think all 3 of them are starting to lap at the same pace, but behind them we've got Lambo in 4th, who hasn't really been able to keep touch. He is still within DRS, but by any means he's not sort of there, as the top 3 continue to streak away from 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and indeed 8th. So lap 3 again, Scuba under pressure from Darren. Scuba can't really catch Alice Killer either, so yeah, definitely playing my mind just went blank, sorry. So yeah, definitely playing a part around here, that's what I was meant to say. As Scuba gets all out of shape, that does now mean that Darren might have a run on him into the last corner. But again, in that last corner, when you're behind someone, yeah, your car just goes wide. You see that full cylinder in the background? Who is that? I think that was Zed on Mercedes. It was. How did he keep that out the wall? I don't know. He hasn't got wing damage from what I can see. So how did he manage to do that? I thought I see him literally slam into the pit wall, but he didn't. But Darren still can't get past Scuba. And up at the front, look at this. Skeven under pressure from the McLaren driver. Again, I still don't know how to say his name. If anyone can tell me in the chat, that would be brilliant. I mean, I've been calling him Grosjean, so I don't know if he'll be annoyed by that or not. But Skeven now losing the back end, and of course the top 10 all on Ultrasofts. These tyres will start to go off soon, so we might see the likes of Skeven come under attack from higher tyre rating. Just see the back end on that Red Bull does not look secure as what it is in the real Grand Prix. And now the McLaren, of course, starting to catch him. Bad Boy actually dropping back from these guys, and Lambo now starting to catch up. So I don't know what's going on. I think maybe these guys at the front are maybe starting to endure some tyre wear now, and the back end they just can't really take control of it, especially in this sector here. And Skeven hits the wall. Skeven has to be careful. That's the second time I've seen him hit the wall there. I think his name is Grow. So I'll just call him Beer. Growen's Beer. Oh yeah, I'll still call him Beer, because by the time I say his name, he either would have got the move done, or, you know, whatever I was commentating on would have been over. So I'll just call him Beer from now on, and if he watches the stream back, maybe he can tell me what to call him. But yeah, I mean, the top 7 all within DRS. So this has definitely been an entertaining start to the race. You see that all 7 cars in one shot, which is what we want to see. Just a little bit further behind them, we've got King Mick, Merck, and Pog starting to lose touch. But of course he's under threat from Wesker, who's under threat from ZR Mercedes. Wesker goes defensive, ZR Mercedes nowhere to go. Ooh, a little bit of contact there, and he got another one bit. But again, Pog now down the inside of his team, well, round the outside of his teammate, and he's still round the outside. Merck gives him the space to fair play. These two, of course, teammates. So it's good to see these two both respect each other, and they're still side by side. They come into the Singapore Sling now, and I think Merck does indeed keep the position he does. So it's good races from the two Williams boys there. Definitely wouldn't have been nice if that wouldn't have ended up in a disaster. But behind him we've got ZR Mercedes now, right up behind Wesker. Will he go for a move? Will Wesker go defensive? He won't. So will ZR Mercedes dive down inside? He doesn't, which I'm quite surprised about, actually, being on them ultra softs. Thought that move would have been done definitely. Yes, he was quite close behind him, was pushing him down the straight, and you just see how confident ZR Mercedes is through this third sector. So he'll want to get past these 3 guys pretty quick as he looks to displace a Wesker from 11th place. Of course, ZR Mercedes having that mistake last lap. Oh, I think that's Merck. Merck has spun. He's lost half of his wing. So again, tyre wear is starting to take effect now, and these guys will start to see the back end kick out more and more. And Merck drops to the back of the grid. I think that will be retirement for Merck, and that's sort of alright for ZR Mercedes. That's one guy he doesn't have to worry about overtaking, and Merck does indeed leave the session. So ZR Mercedes now right up behind Wesker. Will Wesker go defensive like he did last time, or will ZR Mercedes have to go around the outside? He has to go around the outside. Wesker though not really defending the inside, and Wesker doesn't really give ZR Mercedes the space he does deserve, and ZR Mercedes almost spinning up the rear, coming back onto track. Again, off track on around Singapore is just deadly, because you've got all the dust, all the dirt, and can definitely make the tyres dirty, which and then causes the back end to kick out. But up at the midfield, we've got Darren, Scuba and Alice Killer all together, really. I mean, again, the top 7 all within DRS, and it looks like Skeven is now starting to get his bearings right, and starting to put in some good laps. And Growen's Beer can't really compete with that. He's now 7 tenths behind, but he's now under pressure from Bad Boy, and Darren picks up a time penalty. So again, time penalties around here are going to be very, very high for some of these guys, especially if you haven't practiced around this track. Because I mean, one little extension and you can find yourself getting out of a rhythm. Scuba has slight damage. Okay, so Scuba does have a slight damage, and yeah, you can see the right end plate has indeed gone off Scuba's car, and that will now mean that he'll be under more pressure than he was from Darren. But Scuba's still doing a good job with that wing damage, staying in 6th place. He'll want to pit earlier, maybe even gone to the soft tyres. I think most of these guys are looking to go ultra soft, super soft, but Scuba going very wide there. So has Scuba hit the wall again? He hasn't. He's actually managed to keep it, but Darren is right there now. I think if Scuba was smart, he'd let Darren go, and they are still side by side. Scuba does indeed let Darren go, so Scuba doing the right thing there, letting Darren go. But he'll want to stay behind and still be within DRS. Of course, it will provide a tow. But Skeven now 1.3 now, so maybe Skeven was saving the tyres a little bit, and you can see Growensbeard just can't keep up. And now what a Bad Boy looking to pounce, looking to attack on the man in front, who he sees is under threat, because now he's not in DRS, so next lap we could see him move it for second place. Lambo now not in DRS as well, so maybe Bad Boy and Skeven were playing on the tyres, making sure that they stayed in good condition, and it looks like now Skeven is definitely making the most of it, or Bad Boy and Skeven are just in the groove now. But Bad Boy will want to get past this McLaren and maybe hopefully attack Skeven afterwards. But down at the back, ZR Mercedes now still behind Wesker, so he just can't get the move done. And Wesker can't get the move done on Pog. But again, Wesker, ooh, ZR Mercedes is pushing him through that last sector. Bad Boy is right behind the Growensbeard, they're side by side. Oh, Bad Boy taps him, sends him a little bit wide. I think that's move done for Bad Boy. He is up into second place, but I think Growensbeard will have the DRS. So has Bad Boy made a terrible error? I don't think he has, but he is gaining on Bad Boy. So will he go for a bit of a dive bomb? I think he will. No, he doesn't. Backs up. Look at Lambo behind. Lambo almost got wing damage from Growensbeard braking earlier, trying to avoid Bad Boy's rear end, but now Bad Boy 1.7 behind Skeven, so that battling has indeed increased. And now look at the back, we've got Darren, who's spun, and I don't know whether Scuba might have had a part to play in that, I don't know, but Scuba now dropping, not Scuba, Darren dropping down the order, and Darren hasn't got a front wing, so maybe Darren just went straight on. So Darren, it's going to be a nice agonising, painful drive back to the pits, where he's going to put on the set us off and maybe go to the end from here. But yeah, good start to the race. Still everyone within a second of each other, or just over a second. But Bad Boy is really in that gap into Skeven, so maybe Skeven will think about a pit stop if Bad Boy continues to close the gap as he's doing. But again, don't count out Lambo, he's still right behind Growensbeard, so he should be able to keep with DRS. But again, that third sector now, for guys who haven't looked after the Ultra, you're going to see them absolutely struggling through there. And of course this last corner, where you need the back end to stick, as if it doesn't, and you take too much curb on the outside, your car will indeed go into a spin, and that'll be your race over. So Lambo now half a second behind, and Bad Boy is now within DRS of Skeven, so whether Bad Boy has been saving his tyres and Skeven hasn't, I don't know. But it is coming to the time now where the Ultras will start to disappear, the grip will start to disappear, so watch out for Wesker, as he should now start to make some moves. But again, he's been stuck behind Pog now, and he's now 4.2 seconds behind King Mick, and Scuba now in still in DRS with Alice Killer, but just can't get close enough to make a move. So the closest battle is indeed, I think, ZR Mercedes and Wesker still, and I think Darren has called it a day. He has, so unfortunate for Darren. Didn't quite get what happened on stream, so no doubt we'll find out in the chat afterwards. But ZR Mercedes on the back of Wesker still, so Wesker doing a good job here. He's got a good race pace against ZR Mercedes, who is of course on a quicker tyre, but at this point them super softs of Wesker should start to come into their own now, and he should start to overtake some cars. And we've got yellow, I think that's Darren's car leaving, and Bad Boy now 4 attempts, so Bad Boy reeled in that gap really quick to the Red Bull Skeven. At the start of the race, we saw Skeven's back end a couple of times get a little bit happy. I dread to think how he's still driving that car at this stage of the race with a back end as squirmy as that. Surely Skeven will pit, and a Bad Boy, Bad Boy as well, back end didn't look too great there while riding on board as they come to the last corner. The gap now still 4 attempts, and now Growensbeard under pressure from Lambo, who dummies the move to the inside. And behind them we've got Scuba now catching Alice Killer with that wing damage as well, so Scuba doing a good job still catching the guys ahead. But Alice Killer starting to lose touch to Lambo, but up at the front Bad Boy and Skeven, the gap 2 attempts. This is the move for first place, so we are going to stay on board with this. And Bad Boy right behind Skeven. Skeven does go defensive, so Bad Boy still going to go down the inside though. Skeven does allow him the space, Bad Boy pushes Skeven wide. Skeven indeed gives up their position, so again, just hard but fair racing there from Bad Boy and Skeven, and Bad Boy does inherit the lead from it, so well done to Bad Boy. And I think Skeven will be in this lap to potentially get an undercut, and I for one know how overpowered the undercut around Singapore is pretty decent. So I think now we're going to start to see a couple guys maybe pit and maybe try to get an undercut. I think Skeven will, if Bad Boy doesn't pit, then Skeven will definitely pit to get an undercut. We've got Jones in sector 2. It's Wesker. Wesker's spun. Wesker has half a wing, so I don't know what's happened to Wesker, but he has lost a car and now is under threat to be overtaken by AMD. So AMD, after his earlier incident, actually finds himself in the points now, and Wesker does indeed not even fight the Red Bull driver. So let's see if Skeven pits to come around the last couple of corners. Bad Boy ever so slightly taking it easy, and Skeven does pit. So Skeven going to go for the undercut, so Skeven should theoretically come out after all the pit stops with the race lead. Grovensby carries on, Lambo carries on, Alice Killer carries on, Scuba I think carries on as well. No, Scuba's in as well, so Scuba will be fixing that front wing and will be going on to a set of super softs. So it's interesting strategy there from Scuba, and Skeven does indeed put on the softs as a bit of a precautionary measure to make sure he gets to the end of the race. But his teammate AMD, will he get the jump on his teammate? He does. For AMD, as it stands, he has made a pit stop, so he has actually inherited the race lead as AMD. Never thought I'd say them words, but Skeven at 1.6 behind his teammate. I think Skeven will be telling AMD when he gets closer, just move out the way, I don't want to lose any more time, and he's already catching him. So I think we're going to see sort of chain reaction now. We've seen Scuba, Skeven, AMD pit already, and Wesker pit. So now will this man pit, or will he carry on? Because maybe Bad Boy might want to go a couple more laps and put on the super softs. Maybe that is Bad Boy's plan, who knows. As Grovensby 2.7 now, so it just proves how much Bad Boy's been held up at the start by this man. And Lambo still within DRS, so Lambo's done a fantastic job to stay within DRS, and I think Lambo's actually just been scouted by an esports team, so congrats to Lambo, and he's doing a fantastic job representing his team. And Skeven has indeed got the move done on AMD. I think that was a sort of move out the way, I don't want to lose any time, and AMD has indeed moved out the way. So Skeven now net P1 should be anyway, as Bad Boy is Bad Boy going to pit? Bad Boy has carried on, so Bad Boy I think is maybe going to put on a set of super softs maybe. So this is all playing into Skeven's hand. If he can just set some consistent laps, then he should definitely inherit the lead. And I think now ZR Mercedes pits, and everyone's actually carrying on, so I don't know why anyone else hasn't pitted, because Skeven is effectively getting a massive undercut on these guys ahead. So again, if AMD can follow as well, then AMD will have to pit again at some point, yeah, but for the most part AMD's looking pretty strong around here. Lambo starting to close up to Grovensby now. Will all these guys pit this lap? I mean, Bad Boy's tyres don't look bad, but they don't look great. Grovensby tyres again, same sort of wear as Bad Boy's, as is Lambo's. I think Lambo's looks slightly better actually, so we'll see what happens, whether the top 4 or even top 5 even pit this lap. As Skeven now starting to close the gap to Pog. But will Bad Boy pit? That's the question. If Bad Boy doesn't pit this lap, then he's definitely going for ultra soft, super soft strategy. Just how tentative he is on the throttle when Bad Boy does indeed pit. So we'll see what the runner driver goes onto, excuse me. As he pits nice and slowly, not taking any risks. Lambo pits. No, Lambo doesn't pit, so Grovensby does pit. So where's Skeven? Skeven is currently coming around the last couple. Oh, Skeven's got a time penalty. I did say time penalties will be far and few between, and Skeven has picked up a time penalty. That could be his race over with, and he's going very slow out of the last corner. Actually, I don't know what's the matter with Skeven. Where is Bad Boy? Bad Boy just come out of the pits now, and Skeven has indeed got the undercut, and Skeven has left. Oh, that is absolutely unfortunate for Skeven. Got the undercut, had a bit of a healthy lead and now that undercut is going to be gone, and Bad Boy will overtake Skeeven's disconnected car. Hopefully Skeeven can get back in, and hopefully he doesn't lose at that much time, but it is advantage to Bad Boy at the minute. Hopefully Skeeven can get back in, and Bad Boy makes the moves and gets past Skeeven's disconnected car. It's unfortunate. This is how quickly Groansbeer can catch Skeeven's lagged car, and he's catching him at a rate of knots. Hopefully Skeeven can rejoin soon, but for the most part Skeeven's going to lose a lot of ground to Bad Boy. It's looking like he's going to be getting his second win if all is well, and Groansbeer does indeed get past Skeeven, so maybe Skeeven can't rejoin. But yeah, it's unfortunate to see, because of course Skeeven would have of course been net P1, and with Bad Boy being on them super softs, and of course them being slightly fresher, then it would have been nice. And Skeeven has rejoined, so he's now 2 seconds between him and Scuba. Of course, 2 Irishmen, Skeeven and Scuba. So hopefully Scuba can get past before Skeeven comes back, and I think he has. Yeah, he has. So Scuba gets past as well, so Skeeven will have to get in his car ASAP, and I think he has, or is. No, he's not, as King Mick now looking to get the move done. So Skeeven has lost a lot of ground, and the Bad Boy has indeed inherited the lead once again. And Groansbeer now, after Skeeven's disconnection, does inherit P2. Lambo in 3rd. Scuba now up into 4th place, and King Mick in 5th, and Alice Killer in 6th. And I think Skeeven has taken control of his car. He's going to come out side by side with Alice Killer, but Skeeven, the only man on the soft tyres. I mean, he's got a good chance, because these guys can't get to the end on them super softs, and they will have to pit again. So I wouldn't count Skeeven out just yet. He is a very quick driver and will now have the momentum. But Alice Killer starting to come back at Skeeven. He's going to go down inside. He does. Goes very deep. Skeeven just keeps it on the track. Skeeven does indeed keep P. Where is Skeeven? Is that Skeeven? Yeah, okay, so Skeeven does keep P5? So it says that Skeeven's 11th. He's not 11th. There's no way Wait, hold on, let me check, because I think the game's messed up. It says that Skeeven's 11th. But Skeeven and I'm so confused. Bad Boy said, I don't know what's going on here. It says Skeeven's 11th, but he's fighting with Alice Killer. Skeeven hits the wall there pretty hard as well, and Skeeven has indeed called it a day. It's unfortunate to see from Skeeven. Don't know why he's carrying on. I think he just maybe wants to retire the car. And the Red Bull driver has indeed called it a day. So Skeeven out the race. 2 retirements, lap 15. So Skeeven will not be winning here today, but this man Bad Boy looking like he's in fine form to collect a back-to-back win. But ZR Mercedes right behind Alice Killer. So since the pit stops, the sort of gaps have definitely extended. We've got Bad Boy 4.1 in the gap to Groansbeer in 2nd, Lambo 3 seconds further back. Then we've got Scuba 2.3 back, King Mick 1.7 back, Alice Killer 4.5. So these pit stops really have messed up the potential for a 4-5 6-way fight for a podium. It is now indeed only ZR Mercedes and Alice Killer who are the closest guys on track. So while these guys battle, I'm going to take a quick drink and I'll be back in a minute. I am back and nothing has happened, so getting to the point in the race now, just over halfway, and the gaps now starting to fill out. So this is what I was afraid of at the start of the stream, and with all these guys now over a second from each other, I don't really know what to say. As Wesker picks up another time penalty, and there's yellows in sector 2. Who is that? I'll just quickly run down the order. It is Wesker again. Wesker has no wing. Merkel, of course, has disconnected, so Wesker, will he call it a day now? I think he will. He is carrying on though. And Zeno Mercedes has left. Wow, so another... Oh, and he's pitting as well. Oh, he's got no wing, okay. I didn't see that at first. So Zeno Mercedes straight up leaving, and AMD now going to find himself up into 8th place. So the Red Bull driver, who of course at the start of the race had an incident and was dead last by 10 seconds, is in 8th place now. So well done to him on his recovery drive. He's doing a fantastic job, and hopefully he can bring on some points, not just for him but for his teammate Skeven, who did indeed DNF. As Wesker finds his way back to the pits, and again, look at the gaps. I just don't know what to say. Excuse me. As Groensby now trying to keep the bad boy, but the gap being 4 seconds, and with him having a penalty, Lambo is currently on for a second place. So it'd be good for Lambo if he can get that second place. Scuba as well. Hopefully he can get some good results. I think he's near relegation, and I think he hit the wall there. I think he got away with it. But yeah, I think Scuba can get this 4th place under his belt. I think he'll definitely be safe. And Wesker has indeed called it a day. So unlucky to Wesker, Merck, Scuba and Darren, who have all retired, and Zeno Mercedes as well left the session with wing damage. So we've only got 8 runners again. So this should be a fun race from now until the end. We've got 13 laps left of this race, and I have to somehow find something to talk about as King Mick picks up a time penalty. All hell's going to break loose. Go on board with Bad Boy for a little while. I haven't really said much about Bad Boy this stream. He started in 4th place, worked his way up to 2nd place, managed to get past Groensby in the first couple laps, and then was on the attack and did indeed make the move on Skeven while they were both on the ultra softs. And since then he hasn't looked under threat from anyone apart from maybe Skeven, who did retire because why did he retire? He lagged out. Of course, Skeven lagged out and then come back, and then did indeed call it a day. So Bad Boy now 4.5 to gap, 13 laps remaining, so Bad Boy's looking on course to collect back-to-back wins in F2. And Groensby, again, a very good race from him. I haven't really said much about it, but he's having a fantastic race in 2nd place, as is Lambo in fact, and Scuba in 4th, to be fair. So Skeven in the chat, Intet doing a great job as per. Unlucky Skeven, you looking pretty good there tonight, mate, for the win, or if not 2nd place, but a definite podium's on the cards. Can only understand how frustrated you must feel knowing that what happened wasn't, you know, he didn't make a mistake. If I ever see a BT technician knock at my door, I'm gonna break his neck. I don't blame you, mate. I do not blame you. I mean, it could be worse. It could be me now. 12 laps, and look at the gaps. Not one within a second. So I've now got to try and keep the stream entertained, and keep the couple people I have viewing the stream in the chat. So it's going to make my life harder. But still gonna just ask myself some questions. So maybe those wondering why I chose to commentate for PSGL F2. It was the first team that I raced in PSGL. I got put straight into F2 on F1 2016, I believe, and the first race I did was actually was it in Japan? I think it was Japan, and I was in. Well, I didn't intentionally get involved, but I sort of took out one of the guys that was fighting for the title that season. So that was interesting. But yeah, other than that, just wanted to get back to the league, and I saw the commentator F2 had before in Nickel Blocks, and some of his comments were a bit questionable, to say the least. So I decided to ask. I asked him first. I didn't just go, right, I want to commentate F2. I did say, listen, you know, do you want me to commentate F2, because then you sort of get a rest from commentating, because I know he does a few other leagues, and he's more than happy to let me commentate F2. So yeah, I mean, done 3 races now, and yeah, I mean, I know turnouts haven't been great, but I do like this league. I like what it's about, and hopefully we get more people towards the end of the season, and potentially next season as well, because I know a lot of people in the lower tiers, excuse me, would like to race here, and with it being sort of depleted grid more or less every week now, maybe more people from lower tiers can find themselves in F2 next season. So hopefully we have a bigger grid, and yeah, just more people, so stuff like this won't happen. But yeah, that's how I got in to PSGL. That's how I wanted to sort of commentate, give back to the league, and yeah, I mean, not really much else to say. Got Matt in the chat saying hashtag pray for Cliffy. Yep, I couldn't agree more, mate. Because if I was watching this and, you know, just some guy just blabbering on about random stuff, I for one would leave. But I know people here. I know, Matt, you're here sort of root on Scuba. So yeah, it's good to see people here rooting on for people like their friends and that. I do like that. But Scuba not really able to close to Lambo, and he has actually I think, wait, Scuba's behind Alice Killer, and he's now in 4th place. So Scuba's made movements since his pit stop. Haven't really clocked onto that until just now. I'll see you Tuesday and Thursday. Yes, you will, Joe. Yes, you will. But yeah, so Scuba actually made movements after his pit stop, and I didn't actually realise that. So fair play to Scuba, who actually got his wing fixed as well. So again, Scuba making movements, which is what I missed. King Mick struggling to stay behind Scuba, but up at the front, Bad Boy continues to keep his gap. The gap 6 seconds. If anyone in the stream does have any questions, by all means, I will answer anything at this point, because I'm just trying to keep this stream entertained. Maybe a huge or contender for driver of the day. I would definitely have to. I would say AMD, but I don't know. I feel like Bad Boy's done very well, and it does want to load. No, that's alright, Scuba, man. Don't worry about it. Listen, like I've been in charge of a league where turnouts haven't been great, so I know the frustration, man. But again, it's no biggie. It's no biggie, man. Not a problem. I don't mind anyway. It means I can just chat absolute rubbish and get away with it, because I know about missing the thing. But why did you leave TMC and then rejoin? Oh, okay, Joe. That's actually a very good question. So I left TMC because I got a penalty in Canada. It was an incident with Adi Barber, Sector 1, and at first Richie saw it and it got given as a racing incident, and then thought nothing of it. I thought, okay, fair play. And then woke up the next day to see Richie say that I got a 20-second time penalty and a warning. So, you know, you put 2 and 2 together. You obviously know Adi Barber said something to Richie about it, saying how it ruined his race, blah blah blah. And then Richie, of course, gave me the penalty, which I didn't agree with. And yeah, I thought, you know, why am I gonna be here and at that point I just started work as well, so I thought I need a break from this, and I did leave. I rejoined because I was doing 5-lappers one day with I think Dan, Richie and a couple of other guys from TMC, and initially I thought I was going to get kicked, but I didn't get kicked. And then after the next day, Richie messaged me and then said that there was a spot in TMC, and I said if I wanted to join back, and since then I've joined back, and I think I won one race, bottled one race, and yeah, it's been good. And we've got Techman, so welcome to the stream, Techman. I know you're a FIFA streamer, so it's good to see you sort of branch out and watch F1. Would you recommend playing racing games on PSVR? I for one haven't played racing games on a VR, but I suppose it would be an experience to play a racing game on VR, so yeah man, I'd give it a go. If you're looking to branch out, then yeah, I'd definitely do it. But yeah, going back to Joe's question, I tend to join and leave leagues all the time. You know, I say I'm done with a certain league and then next week I'll be back there, so yeah, it's definitely not, I just can't keep to my words. You know, I know what it is, I'm too nice. That's my problem, I'm too nice. But yeah, lap 23, we've got 8 laps left of the Singapore Grand Prix. Bad boy now 7.5, a gap to Groensberg in 7th. Oh, what are your predictions for this season? In what league, Joe? This league, or like, if it's this league, then I'm going to say Bad Boy to win the title, because he's looking like he's in, you know, a league of his own at the minute. I reckon Ski will finish runner-up just because of how stable his internet is. And what else is there? Constructors. Who's Bad Boy's teammate? I don't know. I feel like it'll be whether Bad Boy and Skeeven can finish races. So again, I'm going to go constructors. I'm going to go with Bad Boy and his teammate. So Joe just said TMC. So everything I just said there was worthless. TMC. It's a new game, so you can't say, you know, who's going to win, who's going to, you know, it'll be who will pick up the game and who will initially get the hang of it and sort of be comfortable in the new cars, because, you know, the cars are a lot quicker now than these cars. So I don't know, I can't really answer for TMC, but just by going by this game, I'm going to say Louis and Beasthouse are going to be fighting for the title. Julian will be up there as well. I know Julian's pretty quick. I don't know. I think I'm going to be sort of mid pack. Definitely going to be mid pack. I don't know. I feel like my pace on this game has definitely dropped off compared to what it was in 2016 anyway, because in 2016 I was a lot quicker than this game. But yeah, I think I'll be maybe 4th, 5th, 6th every race. Matt says he's going to win TMC next season, so fair play, Matt. I like the confidence. Oh wow, okay, Techman. That's actually like a pretty like sick setup. I've got a T150 and a T3PA pedals, so yeah, I mean, I find it pretty good. I mean, if we're not add VR, then go ahead, man. I mean, if I had your setup, I would definitely add VR, because I suppose with your setup already, I suppose it is pretty realistic. So adding VR would definitely make it better. But we have got a car within DRS. Finally, it is a Lambo in a Ferrari. But again, if anyone does have any more questions, then just drop them into the chat. I'll be happy to answer them in the 6 laps that remaining of this race. And Lambo looking to get past the Growensbeer. I could be butchering the same. Oh, he's lagging though. It is a Lambo, so he has to be careful. I think this could be another lag out. Really could be another lag out. Oh damn, man. Yeah, no. Listen, if you get you know, if you're thinking about getting it again, then by all means. Because you know, since I've started sort of racing and you know been doing this now for what, say 3 years now, I've enjoyed every minute of it. I know obviously you have times where you're not the best and yeah, it's quite stressful, but the people you meet and the things you get to do and especially now with all the esports stuff as well, it's better than ever to get involved in sim racing, but not with lag like this from a Lambo. Wonder how Lambo sees it. If he sees it like this, then poor guy. But bad boy, 11 seconds, and wow, Groensbeard pits. So why is he pit? Is he going to go onto a set of ultra softs, or has he got wing damage? I don't actually know. Let's see what tyres he goes onto. I think it has to be a set of ultra softs. If it's not, then he's one stupid guy. But it is of course ultra softs. And we'll see whether Groensbeard's car lags backwards. So that battle we had, gone. I just get calmed all the time. That's how it feels. There's finally a battle, and I just get absolutely rinsed. But Groensbeard does a rejoin, and he is right behind Pog, so we have got a battle still. So ignore everything I just said about getting calmed. But this move should be done in no time. But with that lag, I don't know. I feel like Groensbeard is about to lag out. Because if he sees what I'm seeing now, then fair play to the guy for carrying on. As Groensbeard, look at them ultra softs there in just better condition. Paul goes wide, almost hits the wall. Groensbeard down the inside. This could get messy. He gets the move done, but goes wide. Any in-game track racing tips for entering and exiting corners? Well, I suppose it depends on the corner. If it's a hairpin, you sort of want to go tight to the apex and entry, then on the way out you'd have a better line, you'd have better traction as well. If it's a fast corner, I say just be smooth with the steering input. Obviously you've had a wheel tech, man, so you know what I'm going on about when I say smooth on entry. I don't know, I feel like if you're smooth in corners then you're pretty much set. So let's go on board with Bad Boys, and he's the more as quickest guy on track. You see as he comes into turn 4, not taking too much of the curb on the inside, again not taking too much curb, not going over the apex. You just want to clip it on the entry, and then on exit you have a better run. Coming into fast corners like this left-hander here, you sort of want to clip the curb, and Bad Boy clips the ball there, so he has to be careful. But again, you're going to come into the hairpin any minute now. Again, you sort of want to go wide on entry, clip the apex as he's done there, then get a good run out of that corner, and he does. So Bad Boy showing us a fine example of how to race around Singapore. But you know, some say slow in fast out for the corner, so you go slow in, and then on the exit you can just slam the accelerator and get a really good run on the car ahead, or even for wanting to beat a personal best lap. That is the best way. But I think just the input, I think if you're smooth with the input, you'll gain a lot of time. Because I see guys, you know, when they turn, they sort of take 2 bites at it. They're not, you know, slowly turning the wheel, they're just aggressively turning the wheel. So I mean, with you being on a wheel tech, man, you'll definitely have the smoothness as most people do using a wheel. But on pad, you'll see some guys just take 2 bites of the turn-in, which again just isn't good. And you're welcome, man. Favourite track? Oh, I'm gonna say Canada. Just because I've had my most success around there. I won my first ever title there on F1 2016, I think. And then yeah, other than that, I think like tracks like Canada, Italy, Baku, you know, fast tracks, fast moving tracks, I think I'm pretty decent at. Worst track? Worst track. What would be my worst track? Do I say Malaysia? I would say it's Monaco. I think Monaco's one of my strongest tracks purely because of wheel. But worst track. Just trying to go through all the tracks in my head, and you know, I like most of the tracks on the calendar. Australia, Bahrain, China's a good one. I'm going to say China as my favourite, so Canada's my favourite, and China as my worst. As a growing beers, it's got, I think, 6 seconds worth of penalties now, so I am going to quickly check penalties as it is sort of lap 28 out of 31. And a Bad Boy has 2 warnings, and I haven't actually got a warning since. That was on lap 1 and 2. So well done to Bad Boy. Lambo, penalty and a warning. So Lambo has to be careful because Scuba might overtake him. And Scuba has 2 warnings as well. And Scuba's actually in 3rd place now because of Growing Beer's pitting, so didn't actually clock that until just now. King Mick, penalty and 2 warnings. Alice Killer, penalty and 2 warnings. Growing Beer, penalty. 2 penalties and 1 warning. AMD, just a lot of penalties. I think 2 penalties and 2 warnings. But he's up into 7th now, is AMD. So I think AMD has to be my driver of the day at the minute. I know Bad Boy is obviously an obvious choice, but AMD from 13th to 7th. I know he's had 3 retirements, but remember he was 10 seconds behind last place, and he is in 7th place. So AMD doing a fantastic job. But Lambo now in 2nd place, 12.7 behind, and Scuba. Has Lambo got 2 penalties? I just don't know. I can't remember. Penalty and a warning. So no, if Lambo gets another penalty, then Scuba will of course get 2nd place. But we're going to see who has gained the most, and it is the top 3. Bad Boy gaining 3 places, Lambo 1 place, Scuba 3 places, and King Mick 4 places. So I think the 4 options I'd choose for driver of the day is Bad Boy, I'd say Scuba, King Mick and AMD. Those would be my 4 options. Bad Boy, Scuba, King Mick and AMD. Yeah, 4 options. But I'm going to see how much penalties Pog's got as well, because I don't actually know if he's got a lot or not. Oh, Pog is looking very nailed on for 7th place here, because AMD has a lot. He has 3 penalties now, so that's 9 seconds worth of penalties. So AMD looking like he's going to be finishing 8th place instead of 7th. But it is lap 30 now at 31. Bad Boy has indeed started lap 30, so this race has almost come to an end. I just want to thank everyone that did put questions in the chat. I do appreciate that. It did make time sort of fly by, and did make the stream sort of die, and otherwise I would have just been sitting here talking to myself, which I know I am anyway, but I'm sort of answering your questions. So yeah, good stuff. As Bad Boy knows now, he's now got to win. He just needs to bring the car home. I think he's only had the win since maybe lap 26, 27. But I did lose the back end there, so Bad Boy not really coasting the car home. He's still trying to build up a gap. It's 13 seconds to Lambo, but Scuba sort of in no man's land, as is Lambo, as is King Mick, as is Alice. Oh no, Grownsby is catching, so he could move himself up into 5th place. Is he going to go for a move into the hairpin? He tried to go around the outside. Again, he's going to have to better run now, as I said earlier. Wide on entry, get a good exit, and he has Alice Killer. Will he defend the inside? He has. Let's go around the outside, but this will give him the switch back. Surely, because Alice will go wide. It does, and they're going to go side by side. Is he going to go for a move? He does. Alice Killer defends. And this is the most action we've had, and it is lap 31, so I just want to thank these two for coming to track on lap 31. I do appreciate it. And Growen's been all over Alice's back end, but Bad Boy has indeed started the last lap, so we are going to see where Bad Boy is. He is just finishing the 3rd sector, so we're going to stay with that in the next couple of minutes. But look at this, Growen's got a much better exit. Is he going to go for moving to turn 1 and side by side, down the inside? Alice Killer's still there, round the outside, defends. Oh, a little bit of contact. And Gronsbeer does indeed stay behind, but I'm going to see where Bad Boy is on track, coming through sector 2, so we've got a little bit of time before we have to switch him as we see him cross the line. But now this is Gronsbeer, last chance to overtake Alice Killer for 5th place. Is he going to go for a dive bomb? He's close enough to go for one, but he doesn't. He thinks better of it, but I guess a better run. He's going to go for a little bit of lag. Going to see where Bad Boy is though. Bad Boy is coming into the 3rd sector now, so we have got a little bit more time, and he's going for it. Gronsbeer, no, doesn't get the move done. I think he's lagging as well. He is. So I think that'll be move. I don't think he's got any other places apart from the straight, but Bad Boy coming into the 3rd sector. And Alice Killer has actually got a penalty, so I don't know whether that would affect anything. Gronsbeer around the outside again. He's going to have a better run this time. No, he doesn't. And the lag is playing into Alice's hand, but Bad Boy coming to the last corner. He's going to collect the win. Back-to-back wins in PSGL. Bad Boy takes the win. So fair play to Bad Boy. Going to quickly go back. And Pog's retired. Pog has retired. I've just seen that. So he will be 8th place. AMD will get 7th. Alice Killer still keeping Gronsbeer behind. Lambo finishes 2nd. Scuba will finish 3rd. And King Mick will of course finish 4th. But I am on board with this battle, as Gronsbeer will be pulling his hair out because look how much quicker he is than Alice Killer, but just can't get the move done. He's going to have to accept it. No, he doesn't. He's going to try to go down the inside across the line. He's going to get it. Oh, Alice Killer just got it. Fair play to Alice Killer and fair play to Gronsbeer. Good battle towards the end of the race there. AMD will of course finish 7th place and making up 6 places from last place is a good achievement for him. He'll go away from this race a very happy man indeed. It just shows you don't give up. You will still score some decent points around the track like Singapore, as AMD comes to the line and he finishes to finish 7th place. So that was a very interesting race at the start, boring for the middle, and then always heats up towards the end as Bad Boy takes back-to-back wins. So you can see Bad Boy celebrating, Lambo in 2nd, and Scuba in 3rd, I think. So fair play to Bad Boy. Back-to-back wins. Definitely looking like he's going to win the title this season. But Scuba, of course, if his internet holds up, is the man to stop him. Lambo does indeed finish 2nd. Scuba in 3rd. King Mick in 4th. A good solid result for him. Alice Killer 5th. Gronsbeer dropping down to 6th. AMD 7th. And of course, all the rest of the guys did indeed retire. So I think Pog will actually get points because he did indeed complete, I think, 90% race distance. So yeah, I think driver of the day for me, definitely AMD. But again, the 4 options I'd say is Bad Boy, Scuba, King Mick, and of course AMD. So yeah, the next track is Italy, and the F1 race which I am involved in will be tomorrow. So I hope you guys that have tuned into this race tonight tune in to channel Musical Venom on YouTube, I think his name is. But yeah, this has been PSGL F2. Next round, of course, Italy, a good fast flowing track, one of my favourite tracks. So yeah, I'll be involved in the F1 race tomorrow. But as for now, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you same time, same place next week for Italy round number 10. Thank you and goodbye.